He crushed empires. He redrew the map of Europe. Kings feared him. Armies ran from him. But in the summer of 1807, history's most feared military genius was attacked by rabbits. Not soldiers, not assassins, not rival generals, rabbits. And according to the story, they didn't run away. They charged. Tonight we're diving into one of the strangest, funniest, and possibly most humiliating moments ever attached to the name of Napoleon Bonaparte. A tale so absurd that it sounds made up. And yet, historians keep repeating it. So what really happened? Let's find out. By 1807, Napoleon wasn't just a general. He was the general. He had smashed Austria, humiliated Prussia, forced Russia to negotiate. Europe bent around him like metal around a hammer. To serve him was to orbit a sun. One of the men closest to that sun was his loyal chief of staff, Alexandre Berthier. Berthier was brilliant at organization, timetables, supply lines, logistics. He turned Napoleon's wild ideas into reality, and he adored the emperor. So when the wars calmed briefly in 1807, Berthier decided to do something elegant, something noble, something relaxing, a royal rabbit hunt. Berthier had recently been showered with titles and honors thanks to Napoleon. Prince, wealth, prestige. What do you give the most powerful man in Europe as a thank you? You give him a perfect day. Fine breakfast, fresh air, good company, easy sport, simple, except for one problem: rabbits. They were popular food in France. Finding 1,000 of them on short notice? Harder than planning a battle, but Berthier pulled strings. He hired suppliers. He paid extra. 1,000 rabbits would be waiting. Everything would be magnificent. What could possibly go wrong? Imagine the scene. Silk coats, polished boots, officers laughing, silverware clinking, Napoleon in good spirits, victorious, relaxed, untouchable. Outside, servants prepared cages. Inside, wine flowed. Berthier must have been thrilled. Today, he would impress the greatest commander alive. After breakfast, the party rose. Guns ready. Time to hunt. The crates were opened. Fur exploded into the field. White, brown, gray. Hundreds of rabbits bouncing away in panic. Perfect. The hunters lifted their weapons. Some men laughed. Easy targets. But then, something strange happened. Instead of continuing to scatter, the rabbits slowed. They stopped, tiny noses twitching, ears turning, and then, as if they shared one mind, they turned around toward Napoleon. At first it looked funny, a few rabbits hopping closer, perhaps confused, but a few became dozens. Dozens became hundreds, a moving carpet of fur coming faster. Napoleon didn't step back. Why would he? He faced cavalry charges. What was a bunny? But the rabbits didn't stop. They slammed into boots, climbed over shoes, scratched at trousers. Men shouted. Someone tried to wave them away. They kept coming. Berthier panicked. Coachman, form up. Whips cracked in the air. For a moment, the line held. The rabbits retreated. Nervous laughter. What a bizarre interruption. Right, back to the hunt. Just as the men reset their aim, the horde regrouped. This time they didn't wander. They flanked, left, right, and then surged forward like a furry tidal wave. They leapt, they clawed, they crawled up coats. Napoleon stumbled. The Emperor of the French, master of Europe, losing balance because of rabbits. Imagine the horror of the officers. Protect the Emperor! But how do you defend someone from enthusiasm? Napoleon made a decision he had made on battlefields before. Withdraw. He hurried toward his carriage, rabbits bouncing after him, up the wheels, onto the steps. Some accounts say they even tried to climb inside. Finally, the doors slammed. Drivers whipped the horses. The carriage rolled away. Behind it, a field full of very confused aristocrats and very determined rabbits. How could this happen? Were they trained? Was it sabotage? An assassination attempt by adorable means? No. The truth was somehow worse. The supplier had made a mistake. He didn't know there were hunting rabbits. And tame rabbits. These animals were domesticated. They associated humans with feeding time, and they hadn't eaten. So when released, they ran toward the biggest group of humans they could find, not enemies. Buffet tables. Napoleon wasn't attacked. He was lunch staff. Here's the fascinating part. For such a ridiculous event, it appears again and again in historical writing. One major version comes from historian David Chandler in the campaigns of Napoleon, but frustratingly, he doesn't tell us where he got it. No diary, no letter, no official report. It might be true, it might be campfire gossip that snowballed for 200 years. But people keep telling it. Why? Because it does something powerful. It makes a giant human. For one afternoon, the conqueror of Europe was just a man swatting bunnies off his pants. We love stories where powerful people lose control. A slip on ice, a pie to the face, a rabbit uprising. It reminds us history isn't marble statues. It's accidents, miscommunication, hungry animals, and a very embarrassed marshal trying to disappear into the grass. Imagine Berthier that night. How do you apologize for weaponized cuteness? Did it happen exactly this way? Maybe, maybe not. But somewhere in France, in the long echo of history, there will always be a day when the unstoppable emperor met an enemy he couldn't intimidate. Soft, small, and extremely hungry, and for once, Napoleon retreated from rabbits. If you enjoyed this unbelievable moment from history, subscribe for more stories where legends trip over reality, because sometimes the strangest battles are the ones nobody planned.